know that this is the 4th time Cell has been in 4th place on DBCember, right?
Number 4 in our top 24 villains, number 4 in our top 12 fights, number 4 in our top 12 transformations. Now this.
We swear this is a coincidence. Also, really funny.
We assume the placement of Cell is going to be a controversial one, polarizing even. Hell, for me, it's my number 1 pick. This saga's full of amazing battles, unforgettable drama, and a climax that puts not only other arcs, but other whole anime to shame.
For me, it's not in my top 5. Not that I dislike it, it just has some fundamental issues that keep it from being my favorite.
I had it as my number 4, so frankly, this is perfect.
This saga begins with the return of Frieza. No, not that one. Or that one. As a perfect way to start off a saga literally all about androids and cyborgs, our frosty fiend arrives on Earth complete with cybernetic replacements and a big, horny daddy. But before he can wreak havoc, a young man equipped with a sword and Super Saiyan shows up to bisect him and sends his papa to hell in kind. Also, what is it with Trunks cutting people in half?
What a way to introduce a character. Frieza was far and away the biggest bad the series had ever seen, so to see him jobbed this thoroughly and in such an incredibly awesome manner, it's hype as all hell.
Number 9 on our most iconic moments in Dragon Ball, check it out.
And afterwards we get to meet Goku again and learn that this stranger is actually Vegeta and Bulma's son from the future and that the apocalypse by way of Skynet is coming. And atop all that, Goku dies of a heart virus before he can help try to stop it.
It's a pretty insane beginning to the saga, and this sets up for mysteries, conflicts, death, and some of the series' most harrowing moments. We'd meet androids, cyborgs, Jinzo Ningen, and see our little crybaby Gohan grow into his own as the conflicts of his father's past come back to haunt them all.
In terms of our main antagonists, the androids in Cell are undeniably iconic. Their designs and personalities are full of Toriyama's charm and aesthetic. The androids' devil-may-care attitudes are a stark contrast to Cell's single-minded devotion to his perfection, but their menace is felt all the same, especially when these terror teens wreck the entire Dragon team.
Although I'd absolutely love to see the timeline where Toriyama's editors didn't make him change androids 19 and 20 from being the main villains. Where would he have even gone if that were the case? Would android 20 be able to transform as well? Would we still have gotten Cell?
Speaking of timelines, Toriyama definitely seemed to have taken some inspiration from the Terminator franchise. This saga plays a lot with time travel, adding a neat layer of complexity and mystery to the plot. Trunks coming back to the past sends a ripple effect that creates new problems, and even paves the way for Cell's perfection. Unfortunately, Toriyama does occasionally find himself struggling a bit with the trickiness of time travel.
Yeah, and the story isn't helped by the insane amount of editorial interference. Or maybe it was helped, who's to say? But the constant rewrites and redesigns definitely made this journey feel a lot rockier and haphazard in several places. Don't get me started on the absurdity of Dr. Ghetto making androids 17 and 18 the power source necessary for Cell's perfection, or Goku's absolute bullshit explanation of why they don't just find Dr. Ghetto and stop him from making the androids.
If I were Bulma, I'd have gone rogue and had Shenron teleport Jiro into the sun.
But even with those narrative hiccups, there are just so many moments here that have stuck with me and many other fans over the years. The androids' first fight against our heroes leading to Vegeta's iconic arm break, Kami and Piccolo reuniting and finally bringing an end to their conflict, Cell's wicked and horrifying introduction in Nikki Town, Piccolo vs. 17, Tien's Shin Ki Koho, Cell becoming perfect, one of the coolest fights in the series with Goku vs. Cell, Goku's sacrifice, and Gohan's transformation to... as I said before, one of the best climaxes in anime.
And those are just the bigger moments. This saga is long and winding, with plenty of mysteries and fascinating reveals, and it feels like the entire cast gets to be directly involved. It's admittedly a little frustrating that the main crux of the saga takes so long to get moving, as we're introduced to antagonist after antagonist until we arrive at Cell, who himself still goes through several radical transformations.
That's truly a shame too, because while Perfect Cell's design is definitely memorable and his personality is serviceable, his first form is the most unique all around. He's a movie monster, stalking humans and devouring them for sustenance, and it's a shame that we lose many of those features after he absorbs Android 17. Of course, a big ol' insect man might not have played so well with audiences, especially leading into the climax, so we can at least understand that the decision to make him more traditionally attractive might very well have been the right one.
But regardless of Cell's design, he facilitates some amazing growth for several characters. We see Goku grow as a father and as a protector of the Earth. We see Vegeta grow as he struggles with being an ex-villain who now has something to protect on Earth. And Piccolo comes to terms with his past by fusing with Kami, and Trunks learns that he's a giant f*** up with the best of intentions. But ultimately, it's Gohan that's put center stage. And watching him come into his own still sends chills down my spine to this day.
Not to continue being the wet blanket,
Said the soggy duvet.
but some of the issues we see him struggling with here seem a little manufactured. And while I'm certainly a fan of showing over telling, it would have been nice to have gotten some time with Gohan to explore these particular struggles.
It's a problem that's worse in the manga, where a lot of time spent with Gohan and Goku training is missing, meaning that Gohan's actual involvement with this arc is incredibly minimal, to the point where his involvement in the Cell games is a big surprise to everyone, and I'd argue, not a good surprise. Not to say that the moment where he transforms isn't absolutely epic, or that his defeat of Cell isn't absolutely the climax you've made it out to be, but the build-up feels inadequate, with more time in this saga spent on characters like Vegeta, Trunks, and Piccolo, rather than on the one who matters most in this finale.
But like we said with the Buu Saga, sure you can put these stories under a microscope and deconstruct them to a fine point on a narrative level, but damn it, watching 16 plead his case with Gohan, only to be snuffed out, leaving Gohan to finally break through that last wall in one of the most gorgeously framed transformations in the series, scored to perfection by Unmei no Hi in the anime? It doesn't matter if the build-up was lacking, the moment is a triumph. The culmination of Gohan's character over 4 years in the making.
And the father-son Kamehameha will be etched into my brain until I die. The last desperate beam struggle dwarfing any other in the series. It's just so fucking cool! No other finish in Dragon Ball hits like this. Narrative issues be damned. The finale of this arc cemented Gohan as a fan favorite for a lot of people, which, as we mentioned, would be a point of contention in later material, but f that. Here, in this moment, in this arc, it's awesome!
In a lot of ways, the Android saga feels like a finale, which is only bolstered by the fact that after this, we get the longest time skip in the manga up until that point at 7 years. In all honesty, I can see why people believe that this was where Toriyama wanted to end it. With an epilogue, this would have been a bittersweet but genuinely fulfilling conclusion.
Yeah, but ending at the Cell Saga? I mean, that'd be a terrible idea.
Is Kaiser okay?
We regret nothing, Mark.